Hello my dear friends and welcome back to this channel, or if you're new here then welcome. Here to talk all things living abroad, studying abroad, learning languages, Canada. And today we'll be talking about the last one. This video will be very personal as I'm gonna be sharing my study and work permit refusals and how I overcame this whole situation. I know that study and work permit refusals are not a very, uncommon thing in the immigration process. So get yourself some coffee or tea. It's gonna be a story time. When I was about to go and study in Canada, I got my study permit refused. It was my first study permit. I applied online, I did everything myself, but I got a letter with a generic statement. Not enough job opportunities in your home country, not enough means of support. What else do they say there? I think it's ties, it's no jobs and no money. I was like, but I have money, I'm planning to go back, like everything is fine. I looked through my documents and I realized my documents were in the wrong order. So if you're preparing visa, study permit documents yourself, please follow the checklist. I was not smart enough and I just put all the documents, submitted, and then I got a refusal. So when I followed the whole checklist, submitted my documents once again, I got my invitation for the medical stuff. So I had to go and get my medical exams, and then I got my study permit, I got my visa, I moved to Canada. Another interesting thing happened to me when I finished my college. So I studied for 2 years. It was 1+1. So it was event management and multimedia management. It wasn't a refusal, but when I submitted my application for post-graduation work permit, I got just 1 year of work permit. I was like, excuse me, what is this? They're like, oh, you've studied for 1 year, you're eligible for a 1 year work permit. I'm like, no. You don't talk to me like this. So based on blah, 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 the law, the whatsoever, if you study for 2 or more years, you're eligible for a 3-year work permit. So the lady on the immigration side was like, oh, you're actually right. So they reissued this work permit. First, they've sent it to Ottawa, even though I was already in Montreal. Then I had to wait for 3 months for an official procedure so they can reprint it and resend it to my new address. Sure thing. All good, all fine, I got my work permit, everything is amazing. It is summer of 2019 and I've already got my CSQ, so it's a nomination from Quebec, so meaning I passed all my French stuff, and I think I've already applied at this point. So I had to renew my work permit since my post-graduation work permit ended. So I submit my application, wait for I don't remember how long, and my work permit got refused. Because they said, you do not qualify for Canadian Experience class. Thing is, Russian citizens are not even allowed to participate in this program. Second of all, I had my papers submitted by my employer. I submitted my papers, so they declined my work permit. I had no right to work, I had no right to visit, no right to stay. I had just 90 days to pack my stuff and go back to Russia. So I called them and I'm like, guys, what is this? And they're like, oh, your paper that your employer submitted, it should have an expiry date. I'm like, but there is no expiry date in the system, because I'm literally sitting with my boss right now in the office and there is no expiry date. They're like, yeah, but this should be. And I'm like, no, this shouldn't be. And I'm like, okay, sure. What do I do? They like, you reapply. And I'm like, and it's gonna take me 6 months to process the application. The guy's on the phone. Yeah, correct. I'm like, so now I need to pack my stuff, go back to Russia or whatever, and then come back. He's like, yeah. I called IRCC literally 30 times until someone who had the competency helped me and was like, they literally made a mistake. I'm gonna call the office, blah, blah, blah. And after, back and forth calling them, emailing them, they finally resolved my issue and I got my work permit. Crazy. The last thing that happened to me in regards to this whole immigration thing, I applied for visitor visa because I was on my work permit, so I wanted to go home, so I needed a visa. I applied, but then I got my residency. So I messaged them saying, guys, can you please withdraw my application because I'm already a resident. I don't need the visitor visa. They're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then they sent me someone else's documents. I'm like, guys, you've sent me the wrong documents. They're like, oh, sorry. I'm like, I'm waiting for my refund since you didn't do anything. Can I please get like my money back? They're like, oh no, but like, we're sorry that we've sent you the wrong documents. We're gonna have a training. That smells like a lawsuit, by the way. I'm still waiting for my money. If IRCC watches this, I want my 200 back. So the bottom line of all of these stories is know the rules, know the laws. So when you call immigration, you know what's going on. Because if I didn't know that I'm eligible for a 3-year work permit, I would be like, okay, 1 year, yeah, sure, that's fine. If I didn't know that I'm not even eligible for a Canadian experience class, I'd be like, okay, they refused my work permit, I'm gonna go home. No, I want to share some tips that might be helpful if your work permit or study permit got refused. If you're 100% sure that you are right, they might help you. So tip number 1, don't panic, breathe in, breathe out. It's not the end of the world. What is the worst thing that could happen? You might just go on vacation back home, and then come back to Canada. Tip number 2, study all the laws, all the regulations. This way, when you call or reach out to immigration, you'll be like, excuse me, here's the law. I want my study or work permit or whatsoever. Tip number 3, read the refusal letter carefully. What did they say there? Maybe they said you don't have enough ties to your home country. Well, then you'll need an apartment, a job, or whatsoever relatives. If it's not enough, job opportunities after graduation, then you'll need to prove them that there are job perspectives after graduation. Just look at the refusal letter and be like, okay, what can I do to improve this situation? In my case, the refusal was, I don't remember which one, but I was like, you know what, here's the checklist. I think my documents are a bit off, so I need to, put the documents as Canada requested them. Tip number 4 is reach out to immigration. Call them, email them. Call if you can. Emailing is like a bit long, but still you need to reach out and be like, excuse me, what has happened? I mean, if you got a visa rejection or whatsoever, you shouldn't be calling them and be like, excuse me, I want my visa. No, but if it's like a study or work permit and they're on, just call them. Just call them. There are nice people working there. Sometimes they don't know anything. Like that person who told me to pack my stuff and go home. I don't know if he's still working there. I hope not. Because if you work for immigration, you should know all the programs, procedures, laws, stuff like that. Another thing that you can do is request IRCC notes. It's basically like a breakdown of your refusal letter. I think only Canadian citizens or even permanent residents can apply for those notes. But if you have a friend who is in Canada, who's Canadian, or you can even ask maybe your college and say, they refused my study permit. I don't know why. Can you please help me? And then you can request this notes. I know also immigration lawyers and consultants, they can do that on your behalf, but it's not free, obviously. You'll need to pay some money for that. And as I mentioned before, ask for legal help. If you're not quite sure, if you don't know, if you're like still doubting if you can get a study permit, work permit yourself, just find a regulated consultant. Please don't reach out to YouTubers and bloggers and like Instagram people being like, hey, can you help me with the study permit? They are not the people you should be talking to. You should be talking to people with licenses, who studied, who are working in the immigration industry, who can actually evaluate your case and then help you. Because all of this, courses and checklists, moving to Canada, blah, blah, blah. Why? Like checklist, okay, prepare the documents, get your visa, get your medical exam. Well, obviously, but if you need a case-by-case evaluation, go seek legal help. You can go to this website and check if your immigration consultant has a license, and therefore check if they are legit. And this is it for today. I hope the video was kind of helpful. I know it's a lot of personal info, but I want you to know that you're not the only one who got a visa rejection. I've been there three times, I think, yeah. And I always manage to, resolve this situation because I read the laws. I know what's up. I know what I'm entitled to. This way, when I call immigration, I'll be like, You do not mess with Miss Yulia. Miss Yulia knows the laws. She can read. So please read the laws, study the laws, so you can prove anyone, especially immigration, wrong. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.